Welcome to this in-service tutorial for Airon Corporation's Newton Model S ventilator. The Newton Model S is a small, lightweight pneumatic ventilator with built-in CPAP designed for use on pediatric to adult patients, 50 pounds or 23 kilograms and greater. The Model S ventilator provides mask CPAP plus volume or pressure ventilation for pre-hospital and hospital environments with simple-to-use controls such as tidal volume, respiratory rate, and pressure limit. Fully pneumatic, this ventilator does not use batteries or electrical power to provide ventilation with readiness for operation. Ideal for EMS, the Newton Model S may be used during intra and inter-hospital transport, in aircraft, on ambulances, in emergency rooms, MRI, and other radiology suites. The Model S has 5 key advantages, including both invasive and non-invasive ventilation to support a wide spectrum of patients with either an endotracheal tube or face mask, an integrated high-output demand flow CPAP system that offers low work of breathing, automatic sensitivity, and up to 140 liters per minute flow rate for the spontaneously breathing patient, an integrated all-pneumatic alarm system which provides alerts for low gas supply, fully pneumatic operation, which means the Model S runs strictly on an oxygen source and requires no electricity or batteries for full operation. And the Newton Model S has simple-to-use controls, making it easy to teach and learn. Let's start our product in service at the unit's rear panel and look at 3 specific features: driving gas input, audible alarms, and the air intake and filter. Driving gas input connection. The first item we will look at on the rear panel is the driving gas input connection. Keep in mind that the Newton Model S does not require electricity or batteries. Instead, the device runs on the ambulance portable compressed oxygen cylinder or the hospital's high-flow oxygen source upon transfer in the emergency room. The ventilator requires 55 psi with a minimum flow of 40 liters per minute. Always ensure that the gas supply line is secure and operating at the proper pressure. Note that when gas is first connected and flowing, the ventilator will alarm. This is normal. The ventilator will begin to function at the preset values. Audible alarms. The next item is the audible alarm. The alarm sound comes out of this circle of holes on the adapter. Please be sure to never put anything in these holes or cover them up, otherwise the alarm will not be audible. The alarm will sound when the oxygen source gas pressure drops below 30 psi. The ventilator will continue to operate as long as oxygen is available. Air intake and filter. The third item on the back of the unit is the filter for the ambient air intake. Airon Corporation will change the filter during routine preventative maintenance, which is required every 2 years. The filter can also be fitted with a nuclear bacterial chemical filter, also known as an NBC filter, for use in hazmat situations. Now let's move our attention to the front of the Newton Model S. We will first overview the 4 control parameters related to patient respiratory support: PEEP CPAP, peak pressure, tidal volume, and respiratory rate. PEEP CPAP control. For early intervention, the built-in CPAP, or continuous positive airway pressure system, allows you to start with face mask CPAP and, if the patient needs it, seamlessly provide ventilation without interruption. Let's start at the top left with the control that provides both PEEP and CPAP. When the device is set for ventilation mode, PEEP will provide the baseline pressure. When not in ventilation mode, it supports CPAP for spontaneous breathing. The PEEP CPAP control adjusts up to 20 centimeters of water pressure. It has automatic sensitivity for changing patient needs with a maximum flow rate provided up to 140 liters per minute. The patient receives the FiO2 set by the percent oxygen control. As you will see while using the Model S, the PEEP CPAP system is very responsive, with low work of breathing similar to critical care ventilators within the ICU. The demand flow CPAP system will optimize your tank utilization with minimal wasted oxygen. To the right of the PEEP CPAP control is the peak pressure control, which limits peak airway pressure up to a maximum of 75 centimeters of water. In ventilation mode, set the pressure at a desired setting to assure patient safety, usually 10 centimeters of water greater than the delivery airway pressure, but please always use your organization's protocols. The peak pressure control can also be used to deliver pressure-limited breaths during pressure ventilation, with the CPAP PEEP control as the lower pressure setting. Tidal volume control. On the bottom left is the tidal volume control with a calibrated range of 360 to 1500 milliliters. The flow rate for the Model S is preset at 36 liters per minute for all mandatory breaths. That allows the patient to receive the set tidal volume with fixed inspiratory flow with delivered peak pressure monitored on the manometer to the right. Respiratory rate control. To the direct right of tidal volume is the respiratory or resp rate control. It accommodates a patient mandatory breath rate in a range of 2 to greater than 28 breaths per minute. There is a wide range setting at lower respiratory rates to provide better control for slower intermittent mandatory ventilation, or IMV rates. Additionally, the respiratory rate can provide a maximum rate of 50 breaths per minute depending on the selection of tidal volume. Let's discuss the basic operation of the tidal volume and resp rate controls. As a pneumatic ventilator with a peak flow that remains constant, when you change the tidal volume, the inspiratory time changes. It is recommended that you set the tidal volume first and then your desired resp rate. Changing resp rate changes expiratory time. For further information, we refer to the User Manual, Section 4, Operating Instructions. Let's now move to the right-hand side of the front panel to discuss percent oxygen control, mandatory breaths, patient connection. First, you will notice that central to the front panel is the manometer pressure gauge, which gives a visual indicator of patient pressure for the CPAP PEEP and the delivered airway pressure for each breath. The manometer shows pressure in the patient circuit as it leaves the ventilator. To the lower right of the manometer is the percent oxygen control switch. With the ventilator driven by 100% oxygen as the source gas, the Model S's variable oxygen control system allows the clinician to choose either 65 or 100%. Both mandatory and spontaneous breaths are delivered at the set oxygen level. When set for 65%, an internal high-flow Venturi system entrains ambient air on the back panel to decrease the FiO2 while maintaining the correct tidal volume. The high-flow Venturi provides stable performance up to the maximum operating pressure, 75 centimeters of water, of the ventilator. With the two oxygen levels, you conserve oxygen with the 65% oxygen setting and can average 45-minute CPAP runtime on a D cylinder. Mandatory breaths. The mandatory breath control to the far right allows you to toggle on or off. In the on position, the ventilator will deliver the preset tidal volume and respiratory rate for each mandatory breath for the patient. With the mandatory breath switch in the off position, the ventilator will provide CPAP only for the spontaneously breathing patient via an endotracheal tube or face mask. Patient connection. In the upper right corner is the patient connection with an expiratory or EXP valve fitting which accommodates the patient breathing circuit. The patient circuits and CPAP masks are used to connect adult or pediatric patients to any Airon ventilator, CPAP system, and may be used with an endotracheal tube or face mask with the angle connector provided. Airon offers a 6-foot patient circuit as well as circuits with non-invasive mask, head strap, and expiratory filters. The patient circuit exhalation valve has been designed with an elbow to support the direct addition of the expiratory bacterial viral filter for the patient's expired gas. Simply adding this filter to the device will help you protect yourself, your team, and your patients. The patient circuit configuration is a single-limb 22mm circuit with the expiratory valve that connects to the EXP valve connection on the front of the Model S. Please note, only Airon manufactured patient breathing circuits are approved for the use with the Newton S ventilator. All Airon circuits are identified with FDA-cleared labeling. The Model S is calibrated specifically to the Airon patient breathing circuit, and the use of any other patient circuit may cause PEEP CPAP and peak pressures to be inaccurate, higher inspiratory work of breathing during spontaneous breaths, Higher expiratory flow resistance. Our patient circuits are competitively priced. The use of unauthorized circuits increases your liability and may put patients at risk. Clinical application. One last step. Prior to clinical application of the Newton S ventilator, an operational verification procedure, or OVP, should be performed to validate the device's performance to specifications. The operational verification will measure the ventilation parameters, tidal volume, respiratory rate, peak pressure, as well as the alarm system. For further information, please refer to the User Manual, Section 4, Operating Instructions. Thank you for your time today. This concludes our Newton Model S ventilator in-service tutorial. For more information, feel free to visit us at aironusa.com or call us at 321-821-9433.